Today on the shooting table, we're going to be looking at another 10mm. This is the XDM 10mm by Springfield. This is the 4.5-inch version. So this is a first for Springfield and their XD line of pistols, coming out with the 10mm. This came out about last, I don't know, October, I believe. So I mean, it's had a little bit of time on the market. You don't see many of them, at least I don't around me. So when I actually got offered it in a trade for another gun I had up, so I decided to go ahead and do it because, you know, I love 10mm. It's one of my favorite calibers, and even though I'm not a fan of the XDM series of pistols, it's, you know, most 10mm guys want to try, you know, every 10mm they can get their hands on, because they're not as abundant as, you know, every other 9mm and 40, so they don't make them in everything. So like I said, I've never been a fan of the XD pistols. I don't care for grip safeties on a striker fired gun, but this is a range gun, so for me it doesn't really matter. So I wanted to get out there. I wanted to, besides my Witness Hunter that I have, I wanted something else. So this is a 4.5-inch barrel. They also have the 5.25-inch barrel. So like their competition line of their 45 and their 9s, and I think they make it 42. They also made it in 10mm. And the differences is you have your slide cut out just like the other 5.25s do, and it's got target sights on it. So it's got blacked out rear, adjustable sights, and a fiber optic front. Now the sights that are on this are TrueGlow TFOs. That's what came on it. But if you do get the 4.5-inch, it's going to come with your standard white 3-dot rear sights and a fiber optic front, 2-dot rear sight, fiber optic front, red or green. You can also swap it out, just like every XD Springfield line of pistols that they make. So I haven't shot this yet. I just picked it up last night, and I knew I was coming out today. Is the main reason I wanted to grab it, because I'm working on some loads. I'm a reloader, so part of this video may get boring for some of the people that aren't reloaders, because I'm testing 2 loads that I made up. So I have those separated and I know which one's which, but I also have some normal ammo. We got the same Cellar and Bellet ammo that I used in the Witness Hunter, and I also have some Arms Core. Oh, camera fell over. Let me also have some Arms Core. Let me fix this real quick here. It's a little windy out today, so see if I can fix it without having to cut the video. Fix it there. So what else can I say? Yeah, Arms Core, they're JHP defense ammo from Arms Core. That's what we're going to shoot at also. So we're going to shoot both my reloads, I'm going to cut this video. Let me come back, let me fix this tripod real quick, and then we'll get shooting. Alright, sorry about that. I got that taken care of, and then a train went by. Can't be shooting while the train's out here. So as I was saying, I've got regular Cellar and Bellet 180 grain loads, just some basic stuff. Then I got some Arms Core 180 grain jacketed hollow point, 20 of those, and then I got 20 my reloads that I'm going to be testing. So we'll shoot this ammo up. We'll run it through the XD only. I didn't bring my Witness out today to the range because I wanted to solely focus on this and see how the loads are going to develop through this, and then I'll develop my own loads for my Witness, because I want it to go even further. So let's get to shooting. So let's load up some 180 grain. We got 14 in each mag, I believe. Nope, there's only 10 in this one because they separate them 50, so I put 25 rounds. Let me go ahead and adjust the camera real quick, get her up where we need to be. You can see I just got some steel targets out there. The paper targets, I'm going to be using those for my my reloads to see how accurate they are. Now I did for the reloaders that'll be knowing what I'm talking about when I'm developing these loads, I use Magnum primers, because that's all I could find. I really would never use a Magnum primer on a 10mm, so I downloaded the load a little bit. So you may see, you know, something happened today. Highly doubt it. I didn't use a powder drop or anything. I loaded them all by hand off my scale. just because I was doing such a short amount, and that's what I like to do for when I'm actually developing the load. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna get out there. See. You guys can still see everything. So these are the 180 grain standard Cellar pellet ammunition. Let's go ahead and give this XDM 10mm a shot. That's fun right there. This gun, it's stock. Besides the last guy put in a 21-pound recoil spring, so it handles the load pretty well. I can definitely tell the difference between my all steel 10mm and this. It's pretty stout. The only other modification to this gun is the Talon grips on the side, which I like to put on most of my polymer frame guns. Sights are dead on. It's definitely a hard hitter. It's knocking those plates around. The white ones, it's hard to hear them because they're not AR-500 steel. The one in the center is. So you can't really hear them. I'm sure you could see them moving. I hit them. I think I missed the orange one once. Got some 2-liter set out there too, and I wanted to save those for the arms core. So let's go ahead and shoot up another mag of the 180 grain S&B ammo. Yeah, this is definitely a fun gun to shoot. So let's go ahead and do some more. Make sure I get off to the side. Close the caps on my little earplugs here. I got plugs in, so the head gear on my head isn't for nothing. I just forgot to put it down. It's fun. So yeah, what I'm talking about is the ear pro that's in here. They have a cap that opens up, so when you're not shooting, you can open that cap up and you can hear better. With them open, they still muffle the sound pretty good. So it wasn't like it was hurting my hearing at all. I could just tell they weren't closed. That's a fun gun right there. Let's go ahead and load up some of this arms core real quick. Let me make sure you can see what's going on. So this is 180 grain. I don't think I've ever shot arms core defense ammo or JHPs. Let's see how those stack up here in the XDM. See what else I can tell you about it. Like I said, 4.5-inch barrel. It's new to Springfield's line. They don't do a lot of 10mm stuff, especially in their polymer. I mean, this is the first time they've done 10mm in polymer that at least I'm aware of, or at least for the XD series. You know, I don't like the way it feels in my hand, but it does feel better than a standard Glock 20, especially a Gen 3. So if you're not a 20 fan and you looking for something that's polymer, and you're willing to try out the XD line, yeah, so far I'm recommending it. You know, they've done a video where they did let's see, what, I think it was 10,000 rounds over a couple days of the same gun, and it was all federal HST ammo, so it's pretty hot stuff. And you can watch, I think it's like a 2.5 hour video. You can watch every shot they made. I don't think it was Springfield directly, but it was somebody affiliated with them or just another YouTuber. The gun did pretty darn well. Let's see, we got 12 of these loaded up. Let's see what they do. Let's see how the XDM 10 handles the recoil of it. Definitely a little bit more stout. Let's go ahead and take a shot at that 2-liter. Woo. Missed a couple times. left. 2 left. So it's actually tamed pretty well. I almost want to say the S&B ammo was hotter, so that's yeah. I'd like to get some HSTs in 10mm and try them out because that's my preferred JHP round, especially for carry. I don't really carry much else. We got so we got 8 more of these. Let's go ahead and shoot them, and we'll go back to the actually let's test out some reloads here because I'm really anxious to try those out and see if I developed a good load. Let's go ahead and shoot these. Let's shoot that other 2 liter over there. Let's try to hit it. I also had a green paint can sitting back there I forgot about, so can't wait to see what that looked like. I lost the tip off of it anyway, so I couldn't use it. Shoot. That's a fun gun to shoot. Let's go ahead and load up some of the my reloads. Now I'll pull out my wallet here because I wrote down the mags are marked. I got 5 different mags with this gun in the trade, and it normally would come with 2 extra mags, about 26 bucks a piece, so they're not too bad for a metal mag. So let's go ahead. The first mag is kind of a weird one. This was from Nosler's data, so this is for the reloaders out there. This might get a little boring for other people, but Nosler recommends for the 180 grain, they say their most accurate load tested was at a Winchester 231, which is kind of surprising because that doesn't strike me as a Magnum load or a powder. I use that for 45s, and they said 4.8 grains of that was their most accurate load. And I've kept that same load because I know it was at the lowest end of the spectrum, so even with the Magnum primers, I should see pretty good results. I've got it at your standard inch to 1.260 overall length, and like I said, I'm using Federal Match Magnum primer, so that's all I can find. Normally I'd use a match primer for my 10mm because I want them to be the best that they can. The round, the bullet itself is a 180 grain Rainier HP. Picked that up at Midway, just kind of to test them out because I typically use Hornady Haps for a lot of my, plinking rounds, but your rounds that you want to be as accurate as they can be. So that's one of my favorite bullets, and that'll be the next load. So granted, if the gun doesn't blow up with what I'm about to shoot through here, we'll try out those Hornady Haps. Now those have 800X. Now that is a typical 10mm powder, a Magnum powder, and that's 7 grains of 800X. Nosler recommended 7.4, I believe, or 7.2, and so I downloaded a little bit just to accommodate the Magnum primers. So let's go ahead and see how this shoots. Let me back up, make sure the camera's still where I need it to be. Everything's still looking good. Let me get up here and let's shoot the thing. Now I'm gonna move up a little closer to those paper targets. You won't be able to hear them swing or anything getting hit because I want to see how accurate the load is. This is the boring part of doing load development, is getting an accurate load. Once I figure it out, I'll move back to regular match primers, not Magnum, and we'll load up a bunch of them. So I'm gonna move up a little further. Camera's on a tripod, so I can't move it. Let me go for that right paper target. Granted, if it doesn't blow up, everything should go pretty well. Had a malfunction, super light. The Nosler data said about 950 feet per second, which is really slow for a 10mm, and I figured with the Magnum primers it might up that a little bit, and that's why I kept the load the same. So I'm kind of surprised that out of this gun we're having malfunctions already. Maybe the recoil spring's a little too stiff for this load, so I'm hoping the 800X load will help, and we won't have that malfunction. So let's go ahead and see. These are really light, so we'll probably have to cross this off as not being the best load for 180 grain. So I kind of figured it was, but I wanted to give it a try anyways. Okay, so slide didn't lock back, but I was riding pretty high, so definitely isn't going to be any overpressure signs with that. I have to find my brass. I'm so used to my witness kicking the brass 10, 15 feet that way. I'll have to go back and track that brass down. So I'm going to go ahead and say that's a light load, but it felt like a 9mm, to be honest. So I definitely won't be loading up more of those. I could probably load it a little hotter, but Winchester 231 just isn't a Magnum powder, so I'm a little, I'm not surprised by those results at all. And it could just be my loading, who knows. So let's try, like I said before, let's go ahead and read this load off again. This is 7 grains. This is 7 grains of 800X with 200 grain Hornet 8 haps. 1.260 Federal Match large pistol primers, Magnum. And let's go ahead and shoot those, see how those go. I suspect those will go a little bit better, but still at the low end for 800X. It's a very versatile powder. You can really get it cranked up. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a shot at the second target to the left and see where my loads are. By the results of that, 3 light pistol strikes on the with Federal Match primers is kind of you know, not common. I'll definitely say that. But we also didn't have any problems out of these other guns, out of the other rounds. So I hear another train coming. Obviously, you see the railroad track, so I'm going to try to shoot another mag real quick before it gets here. Definitely don't want to be shooting with a train coming. So let's load this other mag up, and we'll let you go. But so far, any malfunctions we've had today, even though I'd love to say that Springfield is, you know, making a bad gun, they don't. So I'm going to put this all on the loads. You can see that the factory ammunition is running fine. That's part of load development, is finding out what's wrong before you make up 500 or 600. I've made that mistake before. So let's go ahead and shoot some more real quick. Last 2-liter I had on the last shot. Still sounds pretty far off. I wonder if I can get another mag out of it real quick. So I will say if the train comes, I end the video. I hope y'all enjoyed. You know, we'll be making more videos here soon. I'm trying to get a GoPro so I can make some better looking videos and edit them a little bit more instead of using my iPhone X. Might get this mag out before the train comes. Let's go ahead and shoot the last mag. Let's see how fast we can get them going here. That's definitely a fun gun. I love my Witness Hunter, but you know, it's big and it's heavy, so for a smaller gunner, you know, even for carry, this is the 4.5 inch, so this is made to be carried. A lot of people are carrying the 9mm and 40 versions, so why not crank it up and put a 10mm in there? It's definitely an effective round for self-defense. We all know that. So thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more videos. I plan on doing a disassembly of this one, even though there's nothing different about the XDM, but we'll get that going. Any other guns you want to see reviewed, let me know, and I'll try to pick them up. So we'll see you next time on the shooting table.